Welcome to Coaches Roundtable. I'm Ed Codi. Welcome our guest, Pittsburgh Penguins color analyst. No one does it better, and the chic of sartorial splendor. Jay, when are you coming out with that clothing line? Or I should say, when's your wife coming out with your clothing line?
That's a good point. Yeah, no. Yes, she the suits. There's a guy from Montreal who he takes care of the players all the time, and I've always got my suits from him, and he does a great job. And then Alicia, yeah, she puts the ties together, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I'll let her know that, Ed, for sure.
Hey, Jay, is this a crazy season or what for the Pens? I mean, blown leads, a paltry 14% power play, 30th in the league. They had a skid there where they were 3-10-1. The trade of Gensel, and here we are. This 6-0-3 run has put them in contention for the second wild card spot. Detroit tied with them with 84 points. Detroit has 5 games to play, but a big game tonight for them with Washington. Are you as surprised as I am?
You know what, Ed? I'm really not. I think I've even been saying over the last month, even when there was 20 some games left, and people were writing them off, right? And now the normal situation, yeah, it'd be a tough hill to climb, if you will. But not one of those 5 teams that were battling for this second wild card spot. You know, Tampa was involved in that too. They went on the nice run. They're a really good team, and they went on the run that they should be on. But everybody outside of that was not playing well. And even still right now, they just, Detroit losing 7 straight. The Flyers, I felt all on the Flyers were going to spin at some point. But they had, even if they played 500 hockey, Ed, they would be in the driver's seat. But none of these teams, Jersey didn't look like they wanted it. Washington, to be where they're at, that's outstanding because nobody gave them a chance. So, Ed, just because of those reasons and the fact that eventually, and it still hasn't happened yet, but eventually the power play was going to come around. Eventually, players like Riley Smith and Raquel were going to find their scoring touch again. And that's not, and the Djokovic has been outstanding. So I kind of felt like it was still open season. And I'm not just saying it now. I've been saying it for a month. And as I said, luckily, teams ahead of the Penguins just didn't perform well. And still, right till now, the final 4 games, the Penguins are playing the best hockey of all of them. So if they can maintain that, tonight, Washington and Detroit play each other. Somebody's going to be done. Somebody's going to move on, move forward. It's the only reason why the door opened up, Ed. And I felt like that it could have happened, and it has. It happened because Philly really backed up. And as I mentioned, Detroit went on a losing skid, and Jersey never could provide any consistency at all. So the Islanders are one that's in there too, by the way. I don't want to shortchange them. Just I think the Penguins will have more firepower. And the way they're playing the game right now, Ed, to what you were looking or alluding to, they are, I believe that Carolina or New York, none of those teams want to face the Penguins in this first round. Totally believe that.
Yeah, shame on me. I wrote him off 2 weeks ago, and I wasn't happy with the Gensel trade bunning, but he's turned out to play far better than I thought he would play. And then, hey, you got to give credit. Crosby and Malkin, the old 1-2 punch, seem to be back. They've done a combination of 13 goals in this run here, and then the play of Letang, and then Alex Nedeljkovic, his play in goalie, 16, 6, and 7. How big of a surprise has that been?
Well, I think throughout the year, both he and Jari, there was now the beginning of the season didn't start off well for Jari, and then they went back and forth, not good numbers. Then the next 3 months, they were both outstanding. Every time one of them went in the net, they both played very, very well. Then they got another stretch late that was south. And now you needed somebody to step up and provide that goaltending that was sorely needed. And Djokovic has been the guy that's done it. And whoever it was going to be, one or the other, whoever's going to kind of run to the forefront, and now they're giving him the reins, and he's taken over the reins. He's done it himself. He literally has, taken his game and brought it to the Penguins in his fight, whatever phrase you want to use, but he's given them this chance at each and every night. And I believe the team feels it. The fan base feels it. But when a team's got that they're comfortable, if there's a mistake made, he picks them up. It's timely saves. It's all those things that come into play, and that's what he's been providing. And that's a major, obviously, Crosby, Malkin, let's hang without a doubt. And the Bunning playing, a role, and Drew O'Connor. There's so many players that you can go on the list with, but the main ones, Crosby, what he's been doing, and Malkin on a great run especially since his parents got here. Nedeljkovic is a major. His face should be right up there with this big turnaround. He's been that good.
Jay, my one thing that concerns me is their penchant this season, all season long, for blowing leads. I think it was one game that had a 3-0 going into the third period, and they lost. The 4-1 lead evaporated against Tampa, but Bunning had the winning goal. So what's going on there? How does this happen that they blow these leads?
Yeah, I think, well, you know what? It's funny. The Tampa thing, that's a different one, because I'm going to give that the Penguins have been the better team in multiple games. That Tampa one to give up the lead, that was only a matter of that was an idea that was based on, Ed, about the power that Tampa Bay has, right? Their power play first in the league. They got a couple of opportunities and they buried them. I mean, the first goal, if there was one goal Nedeljkovic would want back, it was the second one. It was a pass off the wall, like cross-ice pass, and Nick Paul just released it as it caromed off the boards, kind of caught him off guard, if you will. That's the one that you would want to have back. Now you go to the power play goals that they scored. That giving up that lead is different than the ones we saw a month ago. And the Penguins recovered from that against a really good team in Tampa. And before, they might not have. They're a different mindset right now. And I do think when you give up leads, it's tough. It's a tough league, because I don't think any lead, honestly, the way it's looked, there's not many leads that are safe, right? So I just think that the Penguins at an odd time would give up odd man breaks. They would, not get the puck deep, feed a transition game, Ed. All those things come into play. And a big part of it, too, they weren't getting the goaltending that they needed at given times. And it's a different look right now. And I do believe that Tampa game, Ed, was just a different thing. You went against a superior power play that buried their opportunities. And but they made the kill late to win the game. But that's what that one was. And I think they need to turn the corner. They have to play the same way. Otherwise, they'll go down against one of these 4 teams that are left. If you give up leads, or you feed a transition game, Ed, you're going to find yourself in trouble.
Hey, Jay, let's look at Monday night's game, the 3-2 overtime loss to Toronto. I think it was, correct me if I'm wrong, that was the most physical game I think the Pens have played in all year. Crosby took some shots. I still don't understand why he didn't, there wasn't a penalty against Toronto for the high stick. I know the puck was up near his face, but I saw the stick hit him in the face too. Why wasn't that call made?
Yeah, that was a discussion I had earlier today with somebody. I personally thought that they were debating whether it was a 2 or a 4 minute, whether it be a minor or a double minor. That's what I thought the refs were debating about, not whether he was going to get anything. I think they felt it was just the puck that caught him, and if that was the case, then it's not. I didn't see it that way, but again, Ed, who knows? I believe they should have refs on all sports, major sports, should have to have the accountability. Like, there has to be, like, all the players have to answer questions. If I did something wrong when I played, something seriously wrong, or drew a suspension, I had to face the press. Why did I do it? Why did I do that? I don't think referees in any sport, umpires, I don't think you should be able to just walk off the court, not have to answer questions, skate off the ice, not have to answer questions, walk off a football field without answering questions. All those things. The big time leagues, referees should be able to be held accountable, or at least ask the question and let them explain what happened. Some of them might like that too. I don't know, but I think that would have helped the cause last night. I felt it was either going to be a 2 or 4, but I think the explanation, Ed, was that the puck is the only thing that hit him, and that's why there was no penalty at all. And they could have been right. I just didn't. My angle didn't show that.
Hey, Jay, in our final minute here, if the Pens do make the playoffs, say they win a series, or even go beyond that, how does this impact or change what Kyle Dubas is planning to do with the Pens after this season?
Yeah, I think if you're a person who was hoping for major change, this run might alter that thought process, right? I think that if they got to get through a round. I mean, getting in, they're supposed to get in. So if they work their way back and get in, I told you, Ed, I think they're going to be very difficult. If they win a round, they're just still going to find pieces that they feel is going to make them even better than what they are now. You have to time it with Sidney Crosby's career. That's it. Bottom line, you have to match. You know he's got a number of years left in him because he plays at such a high level. You got to match it. You got to build a team that he has to make him fight for championships each and every year. I'm sure that's what's on Kyle Dubas's mind, and I think it needs to be. I expect something like that to take place, but winning right now, everybody's expecting a whole retooling. That's not going to happen.
Hey, Jay, always great to have you on. Thanks for joining us. Keep up the great work. Look forward to hearing from you. These last 4 games are going to be exciting.
Absolutely. Great to talk to you always. All right. You take care.
All right, Jay. Take care.
All right.
I'll be right back with Ellen George.
Things change. One thing you can count on is that Armstrong always will be Armstrong. We've stood by our name from our humble beginnings in 1946 through the millions spent expanding fiber broadband in our communities. We've never changed our name to run from our reputation. We've established trust by simply putting our people, customers, and services first. It's a practice that holds true and will continue at Armstrong.
I am back, joined to my right by the Swami, George Abraham, to my left, the Tiger, Albert Campman. Spotlight honors high school basketball, girls 6A, Fab 5, Pittsburgh Post-Gazette, Lydia Betts of North Allegheny, averaged 12 points a game. Madison Zavasky, Pine Ridge, 19.7. We saw her play at Butler, terrific player. And 5A, Post-Gazette, Fab 5, Megan Murray of Hampton, what a year she had. She averaged 21.9 points per game. 4A, Post-Gazette, Elena Rocco, North Catholic, 4A Fab 5, and also the 4A Player of the Year, averaging 19 points a game. She was also named the Post-Gazette Player of the Year for all classes. She led the Trojanettes to 3 straight WPL titles. She was the Pittsburgh Trib Player of the Year also. What's left?
There's nothing left.
Nothing left.
Yes,
she'll play at Harvard. So
and she's going to play at Harvard.
Absolutely.
And this is a smart family. You know where her brother plays? West Point.
In other words, the genes are pretty good.
As former teachers and educators, we're more impressed with her athletic accomplishments or academic.
I'll take the Harvard. I don't want to be the old man on the porch, but is that a Fab 30 or am I wrong?
Fab 30?
Yeah, there's 5 in every class.
They call it Fab 5, and
But
then
there's 5 in every class.
and then the Post Gazette classifications. There's 2 levels there.
Okay.
There's
the Fab 5 is 5, and then they break it down by section.
And then there's this section Fab category too.
Yes.
Right. All right. Did I get it wrong? I don't know.
You didn't get it wrong. I'm just thinking you're naming a lot of. I think she detracts from the great ones.
They duplicate. So, like Elena Rocco, she's the 4A. She makes a Fab 5 there.
Right.
And then she's the Player of the Year, all classifications also. All right, let's go to boys. Post-Gazette Fab 5. Peter Kramer of Hampton, 6'5" senior guard, averaged 22 points a game. Post-Gazette Fab 5 by classification. 6A, Ralphie Blundo of Newcastle, junior guard, averaged 22 points a game. Braden Littlejohn of Butler, senior guard, 21 points a game. And in 4A, it's Peter Kramer of Hampton. And 3A, Post-Gazette Player of the Year, Joseph Roth, Elwood City. So he's Player of the Year, Post-Gazette 3A, Player of the Year, Pittsburgh Tribune also. So pretty hard to argue with what he did.
Well, I'm calling him out on this one, though. He did not make the Fab 5. I have no idea.
I agree with you.
Idea
that was my next point.
Points
right.
And 1,000.
How's he your 3A Player of the Year in 2
I don't care about the Players of the Year.
Yeah.
He's one of the 5 best players of the WPL.
He averaged 20.
And I have no idea.
He had the highest scoring average of anyone.
I know.
25 points.
It's a joke. If you live near Pittsburgh, they put you in there. It's a crying shame.
It's a huge
mistake. It's an error. It's error. The guy scored 2,000 points. Case closed.
And 1,200 rebounds for his career.
But he's not in the Fab 5.
That's crazy. And wrestling, Slippery Rock High School wrestler Aiden Shea named second team Region 1 District 10 swim team, a wrestling team, excuse me. And our Stars of the Week spotlight, high school track, Zach Kelly of Karn City, a 4-event winner, the 100 and 200 meters, and a member of the winning 400 and 1600 relay teams. And in the Butler County Classic at Slippery Rock High School, Levi Prementine, Slippery Rock High School, was a 3-event winner, the 110 and 300 hurdles, and the long jump. This kid's a terrific athletic career at the Rock. Has he not?
Absolutely.
We've just been mentioning him.
Absolutely.
You can just put his name on. You can write his name on his table because we're going to be saying his name
again
every week.
Every week. Yeah.
In baseball, Isaac McCandless, Slippery Rock High School, 3 hits. Kyle Morgan, a knock, 3 hits. Pitcher Tommy Shafley, North Catholic, a 1-hitter, 10 Ks, and a 5-0 win over Hampton. Creed Erdis, Seneca Valley, 3 hits and 4 RBI. Nick Parado, Seneca Valley, 3 hits and 3 RBI. And in softball, pitcher Marley Fraser of Knock, 14 Ks and a 2-0 win over West Mifflin. Pitcher Sidney Selker of Freeport, 13 Ks and a 3-1 win over Deer Lakes. Abby DeHitas of Freeport, she had 3 hits. And Lexi the Flame Hames, Seneca Valley, 20 strikeouts on a 1-hitter and a 3-0 win over Norton. And by the way, she homered again. She said, I think already 3 homers for the year. The Raiders are 7-0.
That's a Division I talent thing.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, no question.
She's a junior.
Division I talent.
She is a flamethrower.
Yeah.
20.
How many times has she struck out 18 or 20 a game the last few
only
years?
one person, and they had a hit, ironically.
Yeah.
So someone got a hit.
That would be a bunt.
Yeah, it had to be.
Girls lacrosse, Maya Cote of Mars, 5 goals and a 17-0 win over Hampton. Mars, 4-0 and averaging 17 goals per game. They ought to just play the boys.
They really should. Their scores are outrageous.
The boys are averaging that much too.
How does that happen?
I don't.
Every game is 17 to 20.
They said they're averaging that, man.
They've given up 3 goals in 4 games and average 17 a game. And the boys are averaging 16 a game.
Oh, yeah, it's history every year.
Hey, new hire Seneca Valley grad Easton Bozzoli named a men's head basketball coach at Gannon University. Great for him.
What's interesting is George and I knew him when he was a little boy because we worked him out in basketball, and he always had a passion for the game, not knowing that coaching would end up his where he ended up.
Well, hey, you guys had a part in it.
Well, I don't know if we had a major part, but we just know he.
Hey, good shoes to fill. Fee 30-3.
Yeah, right. Hey, Tribune News high school baseball rankings in 6A. Number 1, North Allegheny. They're undefeated. Number 4, Seneca Valley. Number 5, Pine Ridge, and 3 schools from our area. In 4A, number 5 is North Catholic. In 3A, guess who? Number 1, Riverside.
It's a runaway freight train.
I think I could play anyone. I don't care, 5A, 6A.
This is these last 2 years, I knew, talking to people in Riverside, that these teams were coming through in 5th grade. I mean, that's...
I'm looking for a state repeat.
Yeah. There might be a team down east.
Yeah.
There's nobody in the west can beat them.
Yeah.
They have 2 or 3 pitchers.
Yeah, 3.
Yeah.
They have 3 guys throw 88 or more. 80 miles
Trib
an hour.
softball ranking 6A, Seneca Valley number 2, 7-0. I don't know how anyone could be ahead of them, but they have Hempfield ahead of them. Number 3, Pine Richland, and number 5, North Allegheny. In 4A, it's North Catholic, number 3 at 4-0. And now let's go to our stories of the week. National Hockey League. They're not dead yet. The curse is alive.
We put it on,
curse. I had them dead 2 weeks
ago.
So did I. But after a 3-10-1 run, they've now had a 6-0-3 run, and they lost a tough physical game last night, 3-2 to Toronto. But they gain a point. Now they're tied for the second wild card spot, and it's just been Crosby's been on fire. 7 goals, 9 assists in this run. Malkin, who everyone wanted to get rid of, he's had 6 goals and 3 assists. And then the play of Michael Bunting, I wasn't excited about him coming in to trade for Gensel, but he's turned out to be pretty good.
Pretty good when you play with Crosby.
Okay, let me ask you about the playoff run, because I'm told they don't like to call penalties in the playoffs, and the Penguins are very good 5-on-5. Are they a danger if they get in?
You know what? Anyone you get in, you could be a danger and make a run. I don't know. Here's the thing. They have a penchant for blowing leads this year. So I don't know are they a good team or a team that just playing over their heads lately. The goaltending has been better with Alex Nedeljkovic.
Oh, that's
He's
good. I was
16.
waiting for you to say that.
Yeah.
That's been the major change.
That's been a big
You
change.
understand? Forget all the other stuff. Crosby, Malkin. I can't pronounce the guy's name.
Nedeljkovic.
But he's made save after save. He's been the difference maker. That's why they're winning.
And he's been a backup, but he's 6-0-3 in this run. He's 16-6-7 as a goalie. I don't see how you could take him out.
No, you can't. And that's why George's question was, that's why they have a chance. They have a hot goalie right now. And when you have a hot goalie in the NHL, you have a chance.
Well, here are their last 4 games, all against winning teams. But they're home with Detroit, Boston, and Nashville. And then at the Islanders, their last game of the year. And this is their old nemesis. They've had trouble with the Islanders.
2 teams
So they
have
come
to
down
beat.
to that.
They play Detroit. They have to beat them. It's really simple. The great news is you're not depending on somebody else. Beat Detroit, knock them out. Beat the Islanders, knock them out. If you're not good enough.
My major concern, even with the 5-4 win over Tampa with Bunning's goal, they had a 4-1 lead there, and they've blown leads this year many times. That's my concern about them.
Yeah, they struggled with that. They struggled with that for years, not just this year. For years.
All right, turning to Major League Baseball, the Pirates are 9-2, their best start since 2018. They take 2 or 3 from Baltimore with late inning heroics, clutch hitting, a strong bullpen. How about lefties Chapman and Hernandez have yet to give up a run? Bednar, after one blown save, he's come back into form. How about this? Pittsburgh Brewing Company is going to name a beer can after Bednar. He follows in the likes of Dan Marino, Jerome Bettis, and Bill Cowher, and Chuck Knoll. Pretty good honor.
All I care is that he wins games.
Yes, you don't care about the
I don't
beer.
care about no beer can.
Wow, there are a lot of people out there who be buying those beer cans.
Oh, yeah.
Just win some games. That's all better. You don't blow. You blow 2 already. Don't blow anymore.
And now here's the thing about the Pirates. Their bullpen has been strong. Can it hold up through a 162 game season? That's my question.
It's a great question, Eddie, and that's true. We talked about it before the show. Every Major League Baseball team is asking the same question because they all go 4 innings, 5 innings, 6 at max, and every team plays 4 or 5 relievers every game. I'm hoping that the Pirates have some arms down in the minor leagues that when they get tired, they can bring them up. If they don't, then they're going to wear out.
I think Skeens comes up by June.
Oh, no doubt. No doubt.
Isn't that the period that they wait? They save money.
Yeah. That date is floating, but it is in that area.
You know what's interesting about Eddie? He's already dominating.
Yeah.
That, but he only pitches 3 innings. I don't understand how when you only pitch a guy 3 innings, how he can get up and say, okay, now you're going to pitch 6. He will not be able to pitch 6.
Shouldn't MLB step back and look at the pitching injuries and say we're doing something wrong?
They are doing something wrong.
Bert Blyleven said this years ago. You get what you condition for. When you only pitch them 3 or 4 innings in the minors, they're conditioned to pitch 3 or 4 innings in the majors. Blyleven said when he was in the minors, he expected to go 7, 8, 9 innings. When he got to the majors, look how many times he'd go out there. You give him the ball every 4 days, he'd give you 8 innings at least.
Yeah,
it's not 9.
I would. I truly, I'm not a baseball purist. Go on, George.
Don't forget now, when Blyleven came up, the lousy pitchers went to the bullpen.
Yeah.
These guys are now.
You had one
to throw as hard as they can for 3 outs.
You had one good guy in your bullpen always.
Yes.
One, maybe 2.
Yeah,
one
not
or
like
2.
now. Today there's a 7th inning guy, there's an 8th inning guy, and then there's a closer.
There's a guy lefty just for lefties.
Absolutely. I saw Pittsburgh do it today. The guy blew 2 guys away with about 6 pitches. He brought a lefty in to pitch to a lefty.
Yeah, I was going to say about the purist thing. I'm not a purist anymore. I have an idea. I would run with it. I wouldn't start a pitcher in the 3rd inning. I'd pitch 2 relievers in the 1st and 2nd inning every game. 2 different ones. Every game. Not just one game.
Right.
Every game. Tell you, you're going to pitch now 4 innings.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Yes, and you're going to get us to the 8. Now we get to a Chapman, and we get to. That's why I play. I hate guys going 5 innings, and now you're hoping.
3 guys.
Yes.
Yes.
At least 3.
So that's why the average, once again, I tracked 12, 13 games.
Yeah.
They're close to 100 pitchers. That's 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah.
24 games, 200 pitchers.
Yeah.
Crazy.
All right.
Pirates, it's planned, though. It's planned, yeah.
Pirates beat Detroit 7-4. Reynolds' 100th career homer. Keller, a good outing. 9
That was
Ks.
key.
9
Very
Ks
key.
in 6 innings. He's 1-1.
Yes.
And the other surprise, the Yankees are 9-2, despite Garrett Cole being on the 60-day injured list.
Yeah, they went out and got some pitchers, and it's worked for them.
Yes.
And he threw yesterday too, by the way.
And
Oh,
they're
did he?
hitting. And they're hitting the ball crazily.
He threw 25 pitches yesterday from the mound.
All right, let's get to March Madness, the women's championship. South Carolina 87, Iowa 75. South Carolina finishes 38-0, the 10th team in NCAA history to go undefeated. The third title in the last 8 years for Coach Dawn Staley. She's done a terrific job there. This is with a team that lost all 5 starters from last year that lost to Iowa in the Final Four. Their big star, Camila Cardoso had 15 points, 18 rebounds, some key blocks. And then Caitlin Clark, she finishes her brilliant career with a 30-point effort, including a record 18 second quarter points. The one game after another, Iowa, whoever that was on TV with, set records that went from 12 million viewers to 14 million viewers, beating the Boston Celtics Cleveland rating on ESPN as the greatest rated game ever of 13.3 million. And then the game with South Carolina, 18.7 million with 24 million viewers at the peak. And so let's say this about Caitlin. She has elevated the women's game, record ticket prices, sellout crowds wherever she played. Now the women's NBA just getting ready for her.
Well, we're going to find out if it carries over.
Yeah.
That'll be a big thing. Is it a one-time thing because of Caitlin Clark, or is women's basketball going to continue? That'll be interesting.
You know, a thing I like what Dawn Staley said, she congratulates Caitlin for what she did for college basketball, for women's basketball.
Yes, you have to say that.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you say that?
Right,
But I'll
right,
go back to
right.
Don Staley. That line of saying we have 5 starters back means
Nothing
zero.
today.
In the old days, it did.
Yeah.
Just bring in 5, not 5 high school kids.
Yeah.
You bring in 5 college kids that have played before.
And let me say this. It used to be the transfer portal always a shock. It's just the norm now.
No.
There's nothing
Totally
to be shocked.
norm, yeah.
It's the way
2000,
business is done.
Like 2000 in it.
Yeah, Clark goes down as one of the greatest in
Yeah.
history. And I think she takes her place to elevate the game and the excitement that we have to go back to Magic Johnson and Larry Bird, what they did for the college game. And
Tiger
before
Woods
that,
and golf.
and Will Chamberlain before that.
Yep.
She's done the same thing here for women's basketball.
Absolutely.
Hey, and then the men's game, Purdue 60, UConn 75, second title for the Huskies. You know, this is their 6th in just a 25, 24 year
1999,
period.
6 and 25 years.
And now they're tied second all time with Kentucky and North Carolina at 6 apiece, UCLA at 11. What they've done, their dominance reminds me, they've won, this was a close game for them, 75-60. Reminds me of the dominance of going back to UCLA.
Yeah, this 2-year run is amazing. They have to have some serious money contributors. They've had. I mean, I just remember you're going to Coors, whatever. Was it Stores, Connecticut?
He turned down Kentucky today.
Yes.
What's that tell you?
Yes. There's some
And
serious
talking
cash
about the
there.
transfer portal. John Calipari left to go to Arkansas.
Hey, by the way, that's the
coaching
magic.
portal's
That's the
open.
magic slot machine
Yes.
place, Connecticut.
That's what I'm saying. They have to have some money behind the scenes.
Yeah. Hey, continuing lawsuits in the ACC going on. The judge dismissed Florida State's request to dismiss the lawsuit from the ACC. You know who's smiling and happy about all this? West Virginia, Cincinnati, and Temple. They're hoping they'd leave, so the door opens for
Right.
them. That's it for us. We run out of time. We'll see you next week.